Not too recently, the NFL welcomed its new members to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, the pinnacle of their careers. Maybe not as high as getting to the Super Bowl or winning it, because several of these players or new inductees have won one and haven't. But their careers, their lives on and off the field, earned them the greatest honor of having won the gold jackets, getting the gold ring, having their faces and their heads immortalized in bronze, with the title of Hall of Fame player. One of those players, Larry Fitzgerald, wide receiver, spent his entire career with the Arizona Cardinals. Set records, made records, did things off the field that made him into a great man and not just a great football player. The prototype for being a good football player and a great man. And for that, he was given the ultimate prize that any football player could aspire to. He has earned the title of Pro Football Hall of Famer, alongside other NFL legends like quarterback Drew Brees, linebacker Lou Clutchney, place kicker Ann Vinatieri, running back Roger Craig. All of them can say they had amazing careers that led them to Canton, Ohio, to become Hall of Famers. But I focused on Larry Fitzgerald because before making this video, I saw the conversations being had about the next class of Pro Football Hall of Famers in the class of 2027. And one name stood out more than others: Antonio Brown. Former wide receiver and Super Bowl champion for the Pittsburgh Steelers, the New England Patriots, the Oakland Raiders, although he was just on the practice squad, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Looking at his college career, although he had the drive to be the best wide receiver there was, his college career at Central Michigan was kind of ordinary, although he was on a low-level team in the MAC, and he was drafted in 2010 in the 6th round, the 195th pick overall, which pretty much means he was going to get one chance, and he was unless he was really exceptional, he was going to be benched. He was picked up by the Pittsburgh Steelers, and next thing you know, he put up the numbers. He did the work. Although he didn't win the Super Bowl in Pittsburgh, his career was going to go skyrocket, surpassing Pittsburgh Steelers legends like Lynn Swann in the category of wide receiver, making himself into a Pittsburgh and NFL legend in the process. But then the roof caved in. Although some small on-the-field, off-the-field antics went down, the 2015 postseason play was probably the catalyst for his downfall. During a wild-card game against the Cincinnati Bengals, defensive player Vontaze Burfict of the Bengals threw a headshot, a violent headshot, to Antonio Brown, knocking him out and injuring him. Burfict was fined a huge number and suspended for the first 3 games of 2016, but the damage to Brown would be catastrophic, maybe not physically, but neurologically and professionally. As you already know, headshots, where it comes from football, hockey, professional wrestling or anywhere where headshots are the norm. Sometimes, but very often, result in the condition known as chronic traumatic encephalopathy, or CTE, the three initials that haunt the NFL, that haunt football as a whole, even to this day. The hit that Antonio Brown took from Burfitt that day in 2015 may have been the catalyst for what happened to him later on in his career. Now, that was just one hit he took. The chances are he may have taken multiple hits to the head in the span of his football career, from middle school to high school to college to professional. He may have taken God knows how many headshots that may have affected his brain. So while CTE may be a good reason why he acted out in the way he did, first starting with violating team rules like recording and posting on social media team meetings after the games, even after he signed a contract with Facebook and whatnot and blah blah blah, it still progressively got worse afterward. But even past that one situation, Antonio Brown continued to dominate on the field, surpassing his previous numbers from the previous season, gaining receptions, yards, and touchdowns. On the field, he was a beast. Off the field, he was becoming a very dangerous distraction. Showing up for meetings and practices late, sometimes showing up for team functions late, even blowing up at their coaches for the Pittsburgh Steelers during games. One such incident where he was benched, screaming at coaches and throwing over water containers. Head coach Mike Tomlin of the Steelers at that time said, and I quote, "This is not Antonio's first rodeo. So chances are we don't know everything that this man has done." But that was on the field. Off the field, things got predominantly worse. From small antics like showing up to meetings late to committing actual crimes. In a direct fit of rage in his hotel room, he started to throw out furniture out of his hotel room, nearly hitting people, including a small child who was in the area at the time. He was sued by the parents, sued by the hotel, which he damaged, by the way, with his antics, breaking mirrors, destroying light fixtures, punching holes in the wall. The NFL and the Pittsburgh Steelers did next to nothing. At that time, it was only a matter of time before he crossed a very huge line that even he can't get himself out of. On the field, during one of the games, Antonio felt like he wasn't being targeted enough for passes. And even though the Steelers won, he refused to celebrate and he refused to talk to the media. And after Pittsburgh Steelers front office people started tweeting on social media about Brown not showing any kind of thankfulness for Ben Roethlisberger, Antonio, rather than walking away, decided to respond, "Trade me. Let's find out." With the goodwill that Antonio Brown could have saved for the Pittsburgh Steelers was blown up like dynamite the second that tweet hit the media. And more people in the media and football fans were screaming about, is it possible they're going to get rid of their best wide receiver? But unfortunately, Brown put more fuel to the fire, interacting with the fans and football writers, one of whom he threatened to say, "Wait until I see you, bro. We gonna see what your jaw like." Now I get it, sometimes fans can be jerks, but he don't do anything that way. Antonio Brown decided not to listen, and his attitude was having an effect on the Pittsburgh Steelers. In the final year of his time with the Steelers, in the final week 17, a chance for them to get into the playoffs, even if it is a wild card, he got into an argument with quarterback Ben Roethlisberger, skipping all the practices that led to that game against the Bengals. He was benched for the game. Following the season ending, his dissatisfaction with the role on the Steelers grew even more. And eventually, he wanted out. Eventually, he was traded to the Oakland Raiders. And do you really think that he would change his attitude? No. Instead of seeing this as a possible fresh start for him, the drama followed him to Oakland. First, with injury to his feet after not wearing proper footwear in a cryo chamber. He missed all of training camp prior to the 2019 season. Even with the drama of the helmet situation, which I find was a little bit over the top, things got even worse. Getting in arguments with team officials, including the people who signed the checks. You don't bite the hand that feeds you. The money, the big money that he was being offered by the Oakland Raiders. But unfortunately, he didn't learn that lesson, and later on, Oakland would release him before the season even started. But there's one thing about football that I love. It's a game of second chances, and he was going to get a big, huge second chance thanks to another legend of the game, Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. Brown signed a one-year deal with the New England Patriots worth up to $15 million. He got a second chance. Playing for a team that was already one of the super teams in the NFL and playing with one of the legends of the game, Tom Brady. Now, don't misunderstand. I'm not making googly eyes and loving Tom Brady. But the fact is, yeah, he's a legend. I acknowledge that. That doesn't mean I have to like the guy because I'm an Indianapolis fan. I'm a Peyton Manning fan. I don't like Tom Brady. I never will like Tom Brady. I despise Tom Brady. Okay, I'm getting off subject. In any case, Antonio Brown got the second chance to play in the NFL, this time with the legend and the reigning Super Bowl champions. And unfortunately, wherever he went, trouble also followed. A former trainer actually accused Antonio Brown of sexual assault. Of course, Antonio Brown denied the allegations, saying that the sex was consensual. Initially, the Patriots front office said, "We're not going to do anything until an investigation is done." And Antonio got the opportunity to get on the field and play for the Patriots. This was in a Week 2 game against Miami. But it also would be the last time he would ever wear the uniform of the New England Patriots. because more and more allegations of sexual misconduct continued to be uncovered. But Brown decided to make the whole thing 10 times worse when he decided to text one of the people accusing him. I won't repeat exactly what he said. I'm not going to do that. But the Patriots, in their own heads, probably into Antonio Brown's face, said, "Enough is enough." And he was released. If you're keeping score, that's 3 NFL teams that said, "He's gone. We don't want him anymore. Brown is done." And the fact is, Brown said in an announcement that he's done. Football is over. I'm retiring. But then he changed his mind and returned to the field. Hopefully that someone will sign him on their team. And while he was doing the waiting game, hoping that someone in the NFL would take him, he gets into more trouble about an alleged domestic dispute between him and the mother of his child. And you wouldn't believe this, but the guy actually live streamed the video of the police encounter and investigation, which he is within his rights. But unfortunately, he made a spectacle of himself. In the midst of all this, he tried to get a rap career going. He wanted to be a rap artist and failed because the songs were just horrible. And he got himself in even more trouble when the arrest warrant was issued for Brown for assault of a delivery driver. How much trouble can a man get into? He would turn himself in, and the prosecutors wanted him into pre-trial confinement for being a danger to society. And I don't think he was a danger to society. He was a danger to himself, honestly. But however, the judge let him go without bond. He was let go, but he pleaded no contest to the charges and was sentenced to 2 years probation and was ordered to pay $1.2 million in damages to the moving truck and its driver. The NFL took notice and suspended him 8 games, though he was not on the football team as of yet. If he eventually got signed to a team, he would have to serve an 8-game suspension. This should be enough for NFL football teams never to sign this man. He's on an 8-game suspension. Why am I going to spend money to bring this wide receiver that we all know is a problem child? Why would I want to sign him? But help came from a familiar face, Tom Brady. In 2020, he signed a contract with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers alongside Tom Brady, who was there for the final years of his career. Tom Brady went to bat for Antonio to bring him to the Buccaneers. And again, he offered him a room in his house. Tom Brady, as much as I don't like him, he's one patient, one generous, one godly man. But I still don't like you, bro, Tom. I don't like you at all. You played against my favorite team, the Colts. You played against my favorite quarterback, Peyton Manning. I don't like you. I'll never like you. I'll never like... Okay, I'm getting off the subject now. Alright, here's the point. After his 8-game suspension, you would think that the problem child would come out. But Antonio Brown, the legendary football player, came in, putting amazing numbers on the board and even scoring a touchdown pass reception in Super Bowl 50, in which eventually the Buccaneers would actually win. Seeing this, you would think this is the perfect redemption story. Movies are made of things like this. Hollywood can't even write a better script than a man who has been through hell and crawled his way back to greatness in professional football. You would think that this is that kind of story. Unfortunately, it gets worse. During the 2020 nightmare of COVID-19, Brown was suspended for 3 games for violating COVID-19 protocols by faking a vaccination status card. Bruce Arenas, the head coach of the Buccaneers, said that his future with the Buccaneers was up in the air. In week 4, which is the first game that Antonio Brown was allowed on the team and on the field against the New York Jets, he had the worst kind of meltdown you could ever hope to have as a football player. He took off his shoulder pads and his jersey, threw them on the ground, sprinted down the sideline and into the end zone, waving to the fans before he hit the locker room. That would be the last time he would ever set foot on the football field in the NFL ever again. Coach Arenas pretty much said it's over, confirming all that we knew the moment we saw that on CBS Sports. Antonio Brown is done. The excuse he gave for his outburst is because he blamed the coach for pushing him back on the field while he was injured. And although it was confirmed that he had some ankle problems, the coach is trying to say we didn't know anything about it. However, the outburst was unacceptable. So Antonio Brown was no longer a player in the NFL. He became an amateur rapper and a social media, I wish I could say celebrity, but not really. Because he kept filming himself doing foolish things. And one of those foolish things was him videotaping himself sexually harassing a woman in a hotel pool. I won't get to the graphic details about what Antonio Brown did because of YouTube regulations, and frankly, it's pissing me off just thinking about it. But it gets predominantly worse. Now he has an arrest warrant accusing him of domestic violence. This guy could not stay out of trouble to save his life. His football career was over with, so now he decided to go to try to be an owner of an arena football team, which failed. And, oh man, if there's one thing in this world that I can't stand, is when you help someone, help them along the way. And yes, they might make a mistake, they may slip up, and that's not something to really be angry about. But when you open your house and your heart to a man, and this man backstabs you in the way that Antonio Brown did to the one person that has his back, that has helped them through some dark times on the field. By that, I'm talking about Tom Brady. It's time to get angry. Posting AI photos, harassing celebrities like Caitlin Clark of the WNBA, and posting an AI photo, I should say, of Taylor Swift. But then he went for the unforgivable. Everybody knows about Tom Brady's divorce. I have my limits. I'm not going to make fun of that. I'm not going to do that to him. But unfortunately, Antonio Brown did. He posted photos of him and his ex-wife on his social media accounts, even posting fake nude photos of his ex-wife. Tom, if you wanted to beat him up, something fierce, take him out back and handle him the old way, I don't think anyone, including me, would say 2 words about that. Just keep it clean. Now, the thing is, Antonio decided to apologize to Tom in a social media post, and even posting up a phone call conversation between the two. But all that may be too little, too late. Maybe not for Tom Brady, because he probably accepted that apology. But when it comes to the law, that you can't just say, I'm sorry. First, he claimed that he was being assaulted by multiple people who tried to steal his jewelry and hurt him. But 1 month after that incident, an arrest warrant was being issued for Brown on charges of attempted murder. What he failed to mention was the fact that he stole a security officer's gun and tried to shoot at the people who assaulted him. And after that situation, he tries to flee the country, but that didn't help. Dubai arrested him and extradited him to the United States to face judgment. If he is found guilty, he could spend up to 30 years in prison. His defense is that he was standing the ground. Now, everybody knows that Florida is a stand your ground state and you have the right to defend yourself if threatened. But the video shows that he ran after his attackers with a gun. This is a guy who's had second, third, and fourth, possibly a fifth chance when it comes to professional football to get his career and his life back on track. And maybe, just maybe, have a shot at going to Canton, Ohio to get fitted up for one of those gold jackets. But over and over and over and over again, he has squandered those chances. He has destroyed those chances. If someone is suggesting that he should be in the Hall of Fame for the class of 2027, are you kidding me? Are you really kidding me? Antonio Brown may be spending what's left of his life in a prison cell for attempted murder charges. That's not someone you want in the Hall of Fame. Not someone you want to be standing next to Drew Brees or Larry Fitzgerald, or any of the greats that are going to be in the class of 2027. So whoever suggested that this guy who destroyed his career, who worked his way from nothing to becoming a would-be legend, to piss it away, maybe because he did have CTE, or does have CTE. That may be a convenient excuse, but it doesn't excuse away his behavior. Again, CTE can't be diagnosed until an autopsy. He may have had the symptoms, but he could have gone for help. I'm sorry, Antonio. You are not going to Canton, Ohio. You will be damn lucky if you don't spend the rest of your life in prison.